Hey, how's it going? I'm completing the entirety of old school RuneScape from scratch. 200 millil, a Zuk helm, a collection log, and a whole lot more. Last video I got myself 99 Hunter, a Dragon Trophy from Leagues, 99 Strength, the Scurrious Pet, 2 more enhanced weapon seeds and 99 hit points. Then I sold off my loot tab and had a cash stack of 586 mil. I bought myself a bunch of gear upgrades as well as 99 prayer, reclaimed my quest cape and completed all of the hard diaries. And of course I got myself 99 fishing and green locked arrow fishing as well. So yeah, a pretty big video, and like always this one is no different. Currently the goal is to greenlock corrupted Gauntlet so that I can restart my 2000 TOA kill count grind, and right now I'm only missing the pet. First of all though, there's a couple of small grinds I've been working on in the background, like Kingdom of Miscellania. I've been slowly farming this one for months and got myself a whole bunch of god eggs and some logs that I can sell off later. And this is actually the maximum amount that the game could store for me, so I put it all in my bank and I'll be dumping more money in too so that we could check on this another time. The next small goal was completing 2000 monkey laps at Atoll as I was in an agility XP competition with my clan. I'm sure most of you know why I'd be doing 2000 monkey laps, but if not, basically at the end of Monkey Madness 2 you can find a monkey inside of a crate that you can wear kind of like a backpack. You then get to transmog the monkey backpack every set amount of laps, and after 2000 you unlock all of them. And as of the time I'm uploading this video, Jagex is buffing the XP rates from agility. I knew that Atoll wasn't going to be getting any significant buffs, so I thought it was a good time to get it done. But yeah, after doing all of the laps, you essentially claim all of these log slots all at once. And my personal favorite transmog is the Kruk Jr. one. With that all done, I return to the Gauntlet. Not only do I need to get all of the drops from this place, I do also need to get all of the combat achievements too. So I focused a bit more on those this time round, and the first one I unlocked was Wolf Puncher 2, a Grandmaster task that requires you to only have one attuned or perfected weapon. Most people do the 5-to-1 method for this, meaning you hit Hunlef 5 times with a perfect weapon, then once with a different weapon to change Hunlef's prayer. That way you essentially just keep hitting with a perfected weapon. Although I just did a tier 3 bow and a tier 1 staff, and did the usual 6 hits per weapon. It wasn't too bad, and I managed to do it first try, but I do still need to learn the 5-to-1 method for future speedrun tasks. 20 kills after getting that combat achievement, I scored another armor seed. Through my entire corrupted Gauntlet grind, I've always been about 2 armor seeds below rate, though I am above rate on the enhanced weapon seeds, so it's not all that bad. I was also getting the occasional regular weapon seed, which it kind of sucked, but they are still worth about 200 to 300k, so it's still a nice regular drop. And also, like the last video, after every run, I always go out to scout for those crystal implings too, to add to my Dopamine Tab, which will be shown off at the end of the video. With all the time I've spent down here, I'm getting quite close to maxing out all of my combat stats as well, getting myself 97 range whilst doing a Hunlef kill. It's always a little bit spooky getting the level ups whilst in the boss room, especially if you have the tornadoes chasing you, but it's a good thing I'm not a hardcore because I have actually seen some people unfortunately drop to level up messages before. Anyway, I was doing roughly 10 to 20 corrupted Gauntlet a day, hoping that I'd eventually run into the corrupted Gauntlet pet, but the only drops I was seeing was more armor seeds and more regular weapon seeds. The armor seeds are still quite nice to see still. Sometimes I was seeing about 2 of them in a single day, which was great, but I kinda need my dopamine hits. So shortly after 1000 total corrupted Gauntlet kills, I decided that I'd go for some more combat achievements to keep the grind fresh for me. One of them was the tier 3 armor task. Basically, you have to get 13 of each material on the map with a ton of shards and then bring them back to spawn to create perfected armor, along with making sure that you grab food, make a prayer pot, and your weapons. I think I went a little bit overboard with this one. I grabbed tons of food and almost had enough to make an extra prayer pot, but to be honest, you don't really need a full inventory of supplies. You hardly get hit like Atoll, and the armor has a decent prayer bonus as well, so you don't need to make that many prayer pots either. I think if you've already done a decent amount of corrupted Gauntlet, this task is basically free combat achievement points. The next combat task I did was no armor at all. The prep is much quicker, obviously, because you don't have to farm any of the materials, although any mistakes will have an immense cost, because as you're getting hit and healing up with the paddlefish, you're just getting hit even more. I could have maybe taken in some combo food to mitigate that, but when you make the combo food in Gauntlet, the amount it heals is a lot less. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. I went in with a full inventory of normal food and 2 prayer pots, and it just about worked out for me. I still had a couple of pieces of food left, and if I got desperate, I could have used those 4 extra prayer doses I had for redemptions. Next up was the task to make no prayer potions during the run. Kinda glad I got myself 99 prayer in the last video because it certainly helped with this one. There's not much to say about it though. I got to take in a couple of extra pieces of food in place of the prayer pots and just flicked my prayer for the majority of it. If I'd have known how good the prayer bonus was on the perfected armor and the other task, I probably would have gone for both in one run, but oh well, it's done now and it was a pretty straightforward one considering it's actually a Grandmaster task. So that only leaves me with the 2 Grandmaster speedrun time tasks. 4 minutes for the regular Gauntlet and 6 minutes 30 seconds for the corrupted Gauntlet. I figure I should probably start with the regular Gauntlet as it should on paper be a lot easier. I did a couple of attempts and knew I was failing the 4-minute time, so I would just like log out midway through the kill or just sacrifice myself to Unlef. But I realized that's kind of dumb because I could still be getting some loot if I just finish the kill. Keep in mind though, all of the drops are much rarer from the regular Gauntlet, with the enhanced weapon seed being a 1 in 2k as well as the pet. But yeah, let's just see what happens. Oh my god, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. I was going for the regular Gauntlet speedrun. How did I get the pet on that one? I did a regular Gauntlet. I did a regular Gauntlet. I was trying to go for the 4-minute time. I was trying to go for the 4-minute time. I get the pet from that. Oh no. How did that happen? I'm so happy and I'm so kind of upset at that at the exact same time. I do. For a regular Gauntlet, I was trying to go for the 4-minute time. I messed up massively. I was like, oh, that run sucked. I open the chest, I get the pet. What? So yeah, after I stopped the clip there, I was still sat on my monitor in disbelief for like another 10 minutes or so. It's such a strange feeling because I went dry for the pet, but technically got super lucky on it at exactly the same time. It's a 1 in 800 from Corrupted, and I did over 1,000, so I'm dry, but a 1 in 2,000 chance from regular, and I got it at 23. It's so bizarre, but yeah, I still need to finish the speedrun times, but I'm gonna leave the Gauntlet for a little bit because I think I've deserved a break from it, let's be honest. I'll be doing speedrun attempts every other day until I get them, and when I do, I'll put them in a video for sure. So now that I've greenlogged the Gauntlet, the next big goal is returning to the 2,000 TOA goal. However, first I wanted to do some smaller log hunting goals and knock off some things on my to-do list before doing 2 gigantic grinds back to back. The first place I decided to go was Armoured Zombies. I unlocked this dungeon in the last video with the Defender of Varrock quest, and there's 2 log slots to get here. The Zombie Axe, which is a nice drop worth roughly 1.8 to 2 mil as of making this video, and the Zombie Champion Scroll, which drops at a rate of 1 in 5,000. I decided to barrage them, so I'll be getting a whole bunch of magic XP, and the zombies also drop a ton of hard clues, and because of the recent update, I could juggle them on the floor for 1 hour at a time. I did go a little bit dry for my first Zombie Axe. I think it was around the 1,000 kills mark that I got the first one, and then a few hundred kills later I got the second one and 95 mage. If you're wanting to come here yourself and you're not sure on the setup, then this is what I used. A mixture of magic damage and prayer bonus. The most important thing to bring here though is the imbued salve amulet, as it's the best in slot. Okay, got my third one. Third one coming in at 3,062. So it's basically a 1 in 1k for me right now. Still though, it's good money, it's good money. Can't complain. Still hunting the Zombie Champion score right now. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. was just about to walk away from my computer. I just got the zombie champion scroll. Nice. I'm done. Now I've now I've got to somehow transport 34 hard clues. Nice. All right. So yeah, it did take quite a while to transport all of those hard clues, and it took a couple more hours to do them all from what I remember. But it boosted the hard clue casket stack quite a bit. There was also an Easter event on, so I finished that off, unlocking the Egg Priest robes. And next up was again reclaiming my Questscape. I'd only just got it back in the last video, but then Varlamore Part 1 was released. I wasn't really sure what order to do these in, but a few people were quite eager to watch me do the Lilypad Labor Dispute one first on Twitch, and I was told not to spacebar it. You prepare to fight the Lord of Dread. Cuthbert, Lord of Dread. I thought Cuthbert was dead. What the hell? He keeps licking me. Shall I bash his head in with a pickaxe or just like cut him into pieces with the axe? I'm thinking pickaxe. He's dead. Hell yeah. 2k woodcut XP, totally worth it. Next was Twilight's Promise. I don't remember a single thing about this quest other than it was super quick and unlocked the Civitas Illa Fortis teleport, as well as allowing me to use the Quetzal transport system. Then after that was At First Light, the Hunter quest. Again, not very memorable to me at least, but quite quick to do. Perilous Moons was next, and I got to this point where the fish are coming towards you down the river, and you have to catch them with the net, which I'm pretty sure is a 1-to-1 copy of an old PS2 game that I personally used to love, which was Jak and Daxter. Anyway, this was by far the best quest in Varlamore so far, and it's essentially a tutorial of the new dungeon, which is, at least in my opinion, an upgraded Barrows minigame. You kill 3 bosses, then loot a chest at the end for a chance at their armor set, but it's a little more involved with more mechanics, and it's aimed at mid-game players. I'll be back here in the future to greenlog it, but I did enjoy the one run that I did, and you also get quite a lot of nice XP from this as well. Mainly the 40k Slayer XP and 5k Runecrafting XP. Looting the chest, I did get myself the Atlatl darts. Probably not worth mentioning, but it was my first set of them for a collection log. And that was the final quest completed, and just in time for my clan's birthday drop party. I've been running this clan since 2009, so 15 years at this point. I'll keep this bit short. We did end up dropping roughly 800 mil in total, and it was a nice little turnout. All of the drops were donated by higher level players, and a good majority, I'd say, went to the people just getting into PVM, which was nice to see. Normally when we have an event like this going on in the clan hall, we'll jump into the combat ring, but this time I decided that we'd go to Castle Wars. I do still need to get a few dozen more Castle Wars tickets, and I'd like to do the remaining amount through actually playing it properly. Unfortunately, I didn't win any of the games. I think most people have forgotten how to play this minigame, I'll be honest, but it wasn't all bad. I did get myself 91 defense and 123 combat. Not far off max combat level now. After the clan event, I went back to my to-do list. I'm currently close to 40 million farming XP, and I still don't have the farming outfit. So I decided to get that done at Tithe Farm, as well as go for all of the other unlocks, besides the herb sack. I can get that one from Slayer later on in my account, and I don't really have a use for it right now with all of my current plans. Whilst farming all of the weird alien looking fruit, I made sure to do some magic imbues when possible just to get myself some passive magic XP. And because you need to constantly water the fruit, I decided that I'd go for the upgraded watering can first. It basically holds 1000 charges instead of the regular 8, and it's just a nice little quality of life item. It also meant that I didn't have to stay on the lunar spellbook for humidify to fill the cans, but could instead use the regular spellbook and alch. That way I could get some faster passive magic XP as well as make a tiny little bit of profit. I honestly thought it would take longer to complete Tithe Farm, but I got most of the points done in a single day. I wish I got this done sooner, but I do still have 160 million farming XP to go, so the outfit and the other log slots are still going to be very helpful. I do need to come back here in the future though, not for the herb sack, as I said, I'll get that through Slayer, but I actually need another hat so that I can fill the elite stash unit, but I'll save that for another time. After doing Tithe Farm, I went on over to Herblore and got myself another bottomless bucket. Just in time too, because I'm going to be selling off my entire loot tab again. I repaired the few zombie X's I got earlier on and made my way over to the Grand Exchange. The loot tab said I had roughly 83 mil, but when it was all said and done I ended up with another roughly 85 mil. Adding that to the cash stack I had in the bank already, and I ended up with 516 mil. I figured whilst I have this gigantic cash stack, I should probably use it to get myself some buyable 99s. So I started off with smithing, buying myself 10k addy and mithril bars. And the reason for this is so that I could use them in the Giant's Foundry. This place has a bunch of collection logs and rewards to buy in Kovac's shop, which is really useful for the skill. One being the smithing outfit set that actually lets you smith faster. It's one of the best skilling outfits in the game, honestly. There's a few other rewards too, like the double ammo mold, which speeds up cannonball creation, as well as a few miscellaneous log slots, and the colossal blade. There's also a ton of different molds that you can buy in the shop, which upgrades the quality of the sword you make. They aren't collection logs, but they are still worth getting just because it speeds up the grind overall. Plus, I am a completionist, so I gotta unlock everything anyway. After buying out all of the sword molds, the first few items that I bought was the ammo mold, the grog, the smithing catalyst, and the ore pack for 4 collection logs. If you want to be super efficient, the best thing to do is go for the smithing outfit first, because for each piece you have equipped, you speed up the sword creation process. But the points are super quick to get here anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. After some more sword hand-ins, I got myself the first piece of the smithing outfit, which was the gloves. I combined them with the ice gloves, which saves a bank space, but it's also some decent smithing fashionscape. The XP an hour here is decent as well at Giant's Foundry, and also for every sword that you make, you get paid in pure GP straight to the bank. I was making a little bit of a loss on the bars I was bringing here, but you could also bring some regular armor and weapons like adamant plate bodies and long swords, then melt them down if you don't have bars. Which is a nice little method for Iron Men, but I have access to the Grand Exchange, so I just went with the more simple route. I got myself the smithing tunic next, and one of my level ups also brought me up to 2100 total, inching closer and closer to maxing every day. The smithing boots were next up, and after a couple more levels I finished the smithing set by getting myself the trousers. Then just another level after that I got my last item being the colossal blade, and I have to say this thing slaps. With that last item bought, the Giant's Foundry is fully completed. I went back to Prif to do regular smithing at this point. My plan was to do addy plate bodies all the way to 99, but I needed one more level to start those, so I used up all of the mithril and addy bars I bought previously. After I got the level, I went over to the Grand Exchange, and with the giant cash stack that I have, I decided to bank the entire 99 in one go, which ended up costing about 235 mil-ish. Now, how much do you think I'd lost whilst doing addy plate bodies? I remember a few years back when I was maxing my other account and calculating costs, and it was roughly a 40 mil loss back then. But nowadays, at least during the making of this video, you actually profit, which is insane to me. I'll put the margins on screen for you now, and I would highly recommend getting this 99 done whilst the prices are good. Like I said earlier too, with a smithing outfit, you actually smith faster too. If you did 88 to 99 doing addy plate bodies with the outfit, you'd finish it in 28 hours in-game time if you maintain the max XP rate. And plus, I'll say it again, right now it's profitable. So, after getting that 99 out of the way, I decided that I wasn't going to sell these on the Grand Exchange. I mean, it's still profitable if I did, but you can actually make even more money if you sell them to World 308 Anvil. It's a smithing and alchemy community, and they pay more than the Grand Exchange. I didn't know how long it would take to find someone who would buy all of these in bulk, but I came across an absolute champion who bought all of them in one go for 9,550 each. That's a little below World 308 Anvil's prices, but still higher than the Grand Exchange. I decided to just sell them all in one go for a little cheaper, just to save myself the hassle. Anyway, that's one buyable out of the way, and during this time, Jagex was making changes to the game, rebalancing some mage equipment. I had no idea how that would affect the prices, and one of the upgrades I wanted for TOA was full Virtus, so I bought the set. The price has since gone back down, but you just never know. Anyway, for the next buyable 99, I ended up doing Herblore, and of course I was cosplaying as the different potions that I was creating, which for the most part was super restores, energies, and later on Ceradome and Brews. Which, by the way, if you're ever doing Ceradome and Brews and you can't buy the crushed nests, then just buy the regular bird nests instead and come to Nada. Here you can see the total value of the nests, and my cash stack is 244 mil. But after crushing them all within 10 seconds, the value jumps up to 247 mil. I kept my eyes on the Project Rebalance blogs, and one of the updates they gave was adding magic damage to Eternal boots. So yeah, again, I went over to the Grand Exchange and got myself a pair. It's kinda painful looking back on these purchases, not gonna lie. I should have just bought like 50 Elder Mauls at 10 mil and sold them for like 150 mil each instead. But yeah. After level 96, my cash stack was hurting quite a bit from all of the Ceradome and Brews and bad purchases, so I switched over to doing super combats instead, which was roughly break even, although you need a high Herblore level to do these. After a few more hours and more Implings caught, that was my second buyable 99 of the video completed. And with those buyables out of the way, it finally frees up my cash stack to buy some upgrades for TOA. I ended up selling off my Bandos chestplate to make room for buying myself a Zarite crossbow as well as some Hydra leather. Whenever I'm close to purchasing a shadow, I'll for sure sell off the crossbow first to make up the difference. I could have also got myself a Void Waker instead, but at the time Jagex were looking at nerfing it. They ended up scrapping that idea though, so perhaps I'll buy one of those in the future as well. I then carried on with the niche collection log hunting and went for the 3 big fish. They're super AFK and I made a little bit of money out of it as well. Each of these have a different rarity, with the big shark being the rarest. Luckily for me though, it only took 1,100 catches for that one. The big swordfish came in a little bit later too, after 2,700 of them, which is a tiny little bit over the rate, and the same can be said for the big bass after catching a little over 1,000 of them. Next up was pest control. I hadn't got a single log slot here, and I did finish up the hard diaries not too long ago, which meant I was able to unlock Elite Void as well. Also, because I completed the hard tier of the combat diaries, it meant that I was getting 8 points per game on the veteran launcher. And in the end, I needed 1,910 points to unlock everything. And I basically had that done within a couple of days. And with that done, I've greenlogged a good majority of the minigame section in the log. There's a few that still need some mopping up, like the Soul Wars cape, cashing in my Castle Wars tickets, and the herb sack from Slayer for Tithe farm, but yeah, it's looking really good right now. So let's have a look at the old Dopamine tab. The clue caskets have gone up in total by over 100, with about 38 of those being hard clues. The crystal shard stack is now at 4,106, and I gained about 40 more crystal implings as well from all of the time spent in pref. Obviously, I've added a new pet this video, and we also have some new additions, being the new champion scroll and the big fish. Eventually, I'll be hanging up the fish in the playground house, as well as spending all of these Castle Wars tickets, but that'll be later this year probably. Now, before I talk about the next video, I want to give a gigantic thank you to all of my new and existing channel members, including Asleep at the patron tier, Henrik the Epic and Lord Cam at the supporter tier, and a massive gigantic thank you to Tithe at the benefactor tier. All of the support that I'm getting both here on YouTube and over on Twitch is super appreciated, and I'm in a good position now to get a ton of videos out. And speaking of, the next video should be on screen. I'll be returning to TOA and restarting that 2,000 kill count grind for the milestone cape. And if it's not ready yet, it'll be one of my 100-hour account build videos that I also put a lot of work into.